my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it is so lovely to see you today. In today's video we are going to be doing a review of The Secrets of Greek Mysticism by George Lizos. I'm going to say Lizos because I'm English, but it's probably said wrong as he is not English, so I apologise. Anyway, grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. So today we are grabbing this book. It is The Secrets of Greek Mysticism, a modern guide to daily practice with the Greek gods and goddesses. As you all know, I have this year been really diving into my ancestry and the sort of craft that my ancestors would have practiced. And there are two strands of my ancestry that really call to me, and one is Greek and the other one is Irish. So I've been looking into like Celtic paganism, Irish paganism, but also Greek paganism, and it's harder to find Greek stuff. It's like the Celtic stuff's really like trendy and cool, but the Greek stuff is harder to find. So when I saw this book come out, I pre-ordered it like about a year ago. It was absolutely insane, but I was so excited to get it. Let me know down below if you're reading along with me and your thoughts and feelings. I would love to know. As always, this book was bought with my own money. It's not sponsored, not anything. It's just my review, my personal review. I don't take sponsorships on the channel at all. It's all just my thoughts and feelings. Bought it myself for myself and to share with you. So let's get to it. I also want to point out how many little bookmarks there is in here. There is a lot of underlining and highlighting in this book, which goes to show just how much I got out of it. But let's get to the review, shall we? So I have to say the first few chapters I really liked. It was like an introduction to the Greek myths, to theology and mythology in Greece, and how ancient Greeks understood the gods, and that is so important. It's missing in so many books, and I hadn't realised that it was missing until it was there in front of me, and I was like, this is really cool because I don't know a lot about it. I wasn't the sort of person to watch Percy Jackson and the whatever it was called. See, I didn't even know. I haven't read it, didn't watch it. And I wasn't really interested in mythology as a kid. So as a grown, like Xena Warrior Princess as well had a lot of like Greek influences if I remember correctly, but I didn't watch that either. So I was coming in this completely green, no clue what I was doing, no real knowledge about any kind of theology or psychology. I know that Greece was like the centre of everything at one point, but to be honest, I wasn't really, it's never come onto my brain to even look it up. And now it's like I feel almost like I just want to absorb everything, a bit like Dark Willow absorbed all the books when she was dark. It kind of feels like I just want to absorb everything, and so I love that. The way this writer explains everything, it's really easy to follow as well, and they explain it in a way that is very it is very like I've got a degree and I'm a really good writer, like proper writer, but it's also in a way that I can understand, which is really important, because quite often I read some books and I can't even really understand what they're saying because it's very academic. This was not like that, although there are some words and wording that was academic. It felt very much like a passion project, and I absolutely love when you can read the passion the person has for the subject in the book. So I really loved that. It was just perfect being new to Greek practice and Greek witchcraft and paganism and all the gods and goddesses. I do work with Hecate. I've worked with her for about a year now, but whenever people talk about working with gods and goddesses, it's always in kind of a, this god or goddess comes into your life and you work with that god or goddess. And this was explained throughout this book. It was explained in a way like it shouldn't be this god taken out of context. Like I need to understand the main god's from this pantheon in order to understand where Hecate fits into the pantheon. I'm quite excited to learn more about each of them, the different gods, and where Hecate fits within it all. I feel like I've been given a big jigsaw and there's little pieces that have been done, and now I've got to kind of try and find all the pieces. It's really exciting but a little bit overwhelming, but that's just me for my personal practice. Nothing to do with the book. The book is really good. Now, unlike previous books that I've reviewed on the channel, this book does have meditations available online. A pause for applause, because that is really, really important. I think it's something that needs to be done more often and made more widely available for books that have meditations that you can just go and download them. However, as a little, you know, when they put the little asterisk, yeah, I kind of felt a bit when I got to it and it was behind a price wall. In order to find out that it was behind a price wall, though, I had to put in my name and address, email address, and because of that it meant that now I'm on like a mailing list for this author, which I don't mind because I think he's really good. But then when I got behind it, there was like a couple of free things, and then the meditations that go with the book are like £22. Now, I will say this, I appreciate the fact that it costs money to record these things and to put them available online. However, as somebody who uses free meditation apps, I know that people can record meditations in their house and then edit them and put them online for no money to them. It's just they've got the equipment and they do it. I don't know if that's the case with this. I feel it was a lot of money for something that is on top of the book. So I've already bought the book, and now on top of that I've got to pay for the meditations, and it's a lot of money. Like, this book to buy is, oh, how much is it? I think it was about £15, between £12 and £15. I can't remember exactly. I will look it up though and put the price up here. So you've got the price of the book on top of that £22. So for some meditations and a book, you're talking a lot of money. And I appreciate that this person has bills to pay, and I am not somebody who doesn't believe that people should make money from their faith and from spirituality. I just felt it was a bit much. Let me know what you think. It just felt a bit like, oh gosh. And I got so excited that those meditations were available, and then when I put the information in and got to the screen, it was £22. I was not a happy being at all. I was really upset because for a long time I've been talking about they need to make these meditations available. Maybe like £5 would be fair, £5–10, but £22, that is a lot of money. I haven't paid for them myself, but I do think you're not making that available to everybody, and these meditations to help you connect with these gods and to find your main god or goddess. And you know, there is the side of, oh, capitalism, we need to make money, but there's also the side of this should be available to everyone, not just people who have a lot of money. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts. I have lots of thoughts and feelings on that, but let me know what you think. Now, I will say this, the text in this book is really small. It's really small. And if you have sight issues, if you have any kind of problems with fatigue, like I have, chronic fatigue, and there were times I could not read this book because the text is really tiny. So that is a thing. If you have any sight issues, I know some of you on here do have sight issues, think about getting it on Kindle, or if there is an audiobook available, get it on audiobook instead, because it's really hard to read at times. I just couldn't always reach for it, and that always makes me sad. Like, sometimes you just want to curl up and read a book 'cause you're not feeling well, and then when the text is small, it's like, well, I can't even do that. So yeah. What I really, really enjoyed was at the beginning of each of the chapters about the different gods, they wrote about a trip they did at the beginning of when the plague happened, and they were talking about how they took this amazing trip to all the different temples and to meditate and connect, and they speak very beautifully about connecting and meditating with each of the gods. And I really, really loved that. It really made me feel like I was there. I could almost picture like the sun beating down and the leaves imprinted on the gravel and on the floor with the sun coming down, moving in the breeze, and just like sitting there peacefully trying to meditate. It just really made me feel like I was there, and it was so connecting and so beautiful. It's a trip that I would love to do. I would love to go to Greece one day. As a disabled woman, it might not be possible. I don't know how accessible the temples are, or if they're even... A lot of the times they built these things in like mountain ranges and stuff, and in a wheelchair, not really going to happen. But, you know, we're lucky because we have people who can write beautifully about their experiences or can share vlogs on YouTube or whatever, and so we can experience it that way, which is really beautiful. But I loved that I got to experience a bit of that with each of them. I also loved the amount of information that was given, that was not just, this is the information that you can find anywhere online, because you can look up a god, any god, and find all the information about the gods, and it all feels a bit copy and paste. That's why in my personal grimoires I don't do a lot of like basic witchcraft writing down, because I can just look it up. If I want to know the meaning of something, I can just look it up. What I loved is this felt very personal, like the energy that came through to the author was what was described, which felt absolutely amazing. I loved that. And it felt very personal, almost like a love letter to each god, which was so nice to read. It also gave you a meditation, it gave you a hymn, and like the basics, like the colour and the symbolisms and things like that, which was really, really good. Yeah, I loved each individual of the main Greek gods had a chapter dedicated to them. One thing that I have to say, I learned something new, is that the Greeks have their own Wheel of the Year. I've talked a lot about on here and had videos on here about working with the Celtic Wheel of the Year. The Celtic one is more like trying to say how would your ancestors have understood the world. But the Greek one is made up by a Greek council for like spirituality and paganism, I guess is what it is. I need to look into what this council is, but they came up with like a way for practitioners now to connect with the seasons and the different gods. So a different god is assigned to a different month, and so each month of the year, instead of it being like the quarters between, do you know what am I trying to say? I can't speak. So the Celtic one is more like splitting it up into sections, whereas this is like a month by month thing. And I think I'm going to add that into my practice next year. Like I did Google it and look up if there was any books like specifically about the Greek Wheel of the Year, and there isn't one. So if I can ask George Lizos, please do a book just about the Greek Wheel of the Year. Please and thank you, because I would very much appreciate that. Just like more in depth. He does talk quite a lot about it. There's a whole chapter dedicated to this Wheel of the Year, but I would love a book where each chapter is just, you know, connecting to that month, and I can just start in January and work my way through it. I would love that. I don't know, it sounds fun to me, and it sounds like a really lovely way to learn about each of the gods. I really did enjoy that towards the back they included examples of rituals that you can do for the new moon, the full moon, and for this monthly turning of the wheel. And that's something that I was so grateful for, because quite often it's hard to, as when you're new to a pantheon or when you're new to a god, it's hard to know where to begin. Like, how do I step into this? How do I start? And I'm feeling this call to this pantheon and I don't know where to begin. Celtic pantheon or the Irish pantheon, there is endless videos, endless information online, and it's just hard to know where to start with this one. So I'm very glad it's all just coming together, very synchronous. Synchronistically. Thank you, husband, who's dozing in the rocking chair. I appreciate you half listening. Now, there's one thing that I did not like about this book, and it's just one little small thing. They start talking about how to deepen your intuition and your psychic abilities so that you can connect more with the gods. I immediately wrote something on here, so I just want to read out my note for this because I may have said it better here. One thing I found jarring was in Appendix B, where they talk about third eye chakra. Chakras are energy centers colonized from India. I've seen Indian people talk about how the West has taken much of their practices and why I chose to stop referring to them using the westernized versions of the names. So in India, it's not called the third eye chakra. Now, I understand because the author speaks a lot about practicing yoga, and I practice yoga, and I've practiced yoga for like 20 years or something crazy. And in westernized yoga and spiritual spaces, we kind of love chakras. I don't know why we chose them and not other versions of energy centers, because if you look into it, energy centers are very big in Chinese culture. They're also very big in like Native American. They have different names for them. Now, because of this, I'm an omnist, and I think anything that's in like a few places around the world, it must be true, because why would these people know about this or think about this thing if it wasn't true? They're all in different places, spaced out. There wasn't much travel in the past. It must be true. So I know we have energy centers in the body. However, there are more than 7 chakras. I know in westernized culture, we think there are just the 7 that go up and down. Sometimes we talk about the star chakra, something that's in the ground, and another one above us. But we have chakra or energy centers all over our bodies. And I think it's really important to start to try and decolonize our practices. And I've talked about it many, many times, how as a white woman who's English, it's been really important to me to try and decolonize my practice. And so when I've seen people talking about how westernized yoga and spirituality has kind of bastardized their culture and their beliefs, it's been important to me to take that out of my practice and to instead call them energy centers. So I just found that jarring. That's just a personal thing. What I mean to say is that I just personally found that jarring. But that's only at the back. The rest of it, I absolutely loved this. I'd give this book like a 9 3/4 out of 10. It was absolutely beautiful. It was French kiss. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So if you've not yet grabbed yourself a copy, I'll put information down below, both for the author. I'll put all their social media links, the website and all that stuff. They do have courses on there. Definitely go and check out their website. They have written loads of books as well. So go and check out their back issues, their back stuff. I know I will. I'll be reading everything they've ever written because I thought they were brilliant. And they also mentioned that they're writing another book, so I'm very excited for that. But let's talk about the next book, Glamour Magic. As you all know, I love doing glamour magic. I did it today. Like, my morning was spent in bed. I felt so sick, so ill, so tired. I did too much yesterday. Was my own fault. So I didn't feel well. What did I do? I put on a cute outfit. I put on things that mean things to me. I picked colours that were going to help me feel better. And here I am recording a video. And it's not like I've changed how I'm feeling. I still feel ill, but you can't tell. That's glamour magic, and I love it. So glamour magic is something that I've been really interested in. This is The Witchcraft Revolution to Get What You Want by Deborah Castellano. I need to start looking up how to say these people's names. It's very rude. Anyway, I am so excited. I've already started reading this book, as you can see. So if you would like to read this book along with me and be ready to leave me your thoughts and feelings on the book for next month, I will leave information about that book down below. I think it's so important that we help, buy books, buy the book. If you can afford the book, buy the book. I do find if I'm struggling to afford something, sometimes the waiting for it on Kindle is a good idea. But either way, let's keep authors writing. Let's support these authors. So I will leave information for both of these authors and these books down below so you can treat yourself. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I love bringing reviews to this channel, so if there's any books that you like the look of but you're not sure if you should buy, any tarot decks coming out that you're a bit like, I'd like to see some more of this, or anything like that, if you want to see me do reviews, let me know down below. And don't forget, I do have Ko-fi and Patreon if you would like to help me afford to keep buying books, because I have a slight addiction. Don't forget as well to leave this video a cheeky like down below. Don't forget as well to leave this video a cheeky like down below if you enjoyed it, so I know and the YouTuberverse knows that you like this video and it will spread it out just that little bit more. I really hope that you enjoyed being here, and if you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here on Fridays, but sometimes on Mondays. It just depends what's going on, what's crack-a-lacking in my life. Take care everyone, have a wonderful magical week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.